6-ish months from now, we're going to do this again, hopefully all of us. And I had 2 ideas, ATVs and whitewater rafting. So I'm out. I'm going to pass the ball to you guys, and we'll see where we go from there. The other thing I want to say about the adventure, and the last thing, is there's a reason we do things like this. It puts us out of our comfort zone. It's fun, right? Like, we get to build it into a business expense and have a blast doing it. But the most fundamental reason that I've incorporated that kind of experience into our retreats is because it does something to your neurochemistry that puts you in a spot to make better connections and learn more. I know it sounds kind of crazy. And so it puts us in a spot from a neurochemical standpoint that allows us to learn more and imprint the connections that we make in a way that's more meaningful. And so I don't think you guys need me to justify going out and having a blast, but I just want you to know there's more to it than just having fun. Along those same lines, I am going to really quickly just share with you guys this. It's largely a review. A lot of you have seen me do this, and we're not going to go into the nitty-gritty. I'm going to fly through it pretty quick, but again, I think it's a good reminder. And you may recognize this as basically an adaptation of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. At the bottom, we've got our psychological needs, our safety needs, which is incredibly ironic. God bless Terry. And then above that, we've got belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. And those bottom 2 layers are our basic needs. Above that are our psychological needs and self-fulfillment needs. So those are the higher level needs, right? And you've heard me say, probably ad nauseum, that I built the Storage Rebellion as a way to bring people together who subscribe to this belief, and that is that we can use ordinary garages to create extraordinary lives for ourselves. I go one level deeper. Every time I say ordinary garages to extraordinary lives, I know that brings with it, and I only share this sometimes because it's very lofty. I share it with you guys all the time. Larger audiences aren't ready for it sometimes, but I truly believe that we can then use our extraordinary lives to create awesomeness through the world, right? We can be the pebble that causes the ripples, and so that's why we don't sell seats to people in this community just because they have a check. There are several people that would be in this room today, except I wasn't convinced that their extraordinary life was going to be a big enough ripple out into the world. So, no pressure. But what the Storage Rebellion does in order to achieve that is we try to move folks out of survival and into an area where we can thrive, right? And survival might seem a little dramatic. It's like, yeah, we're all, we flew to Phoenix to drive ATVs. I think we're surviving, Mike, right? But from a financial standpoint, survival and security, financial security, there's always another level of financial security. If your financial security right now comes in the form of 40 hours, 50 hours worth of work a week, there's a big cost to your security. And that 40 hours a week stops you from being able to spend that time up here where real life is lived, right? We all have to do what we need to do to make ends meet, but the less time we spend below the line, the better off we are, I believe. And so the goal of the Storage Rebellion is to help you guys, help each other achieve financial security at the lowest cost possible so that you can spend as much of your time above the line. Everybody with me on that? Make sense? All right. 2, 3 really quick comments on that. And these are things that we all fall victim to. So this isn't me holier than thou telling you guys what you're doing wrong, because I do these things just as frequently, if not more, than anybody else. But oftentimes, you guys have experienced, I'm sure, at some point in your life when maybe some of us, our life was in danger. When your life's in danger, nothing above that line on the pyramid matters at all. And rightfully so, it shouldn't. The same is true for financial security. When you're working so hard to make ends meet, and where's the mortgage coming from in 3 days? All that other stuff is completely neglected, and it should be, because it's hard to get there, right? And so I just am trying to kind of shine a light on this idea that if we're aware that an unmet need anywhere on this continuum, so even if this need is not met, we become blind to the need above it, right? And so that's just a encouragement to you guys to ask yourself, am I blind to what else might be available to me right now, right? The other thing that happens is we tend to oversatisfy, and this is an important one, we tend to oversatisfy lower level needs in hopes to drown out whatever void occurs within us when our higher level needs are not met. So if belonging and love is lacking in my life, if my wife and I are not on the same page, I may turn my attention to kicking ass financially, right? I'll provide for my family because I'm having trouble connecting with my family, right? And we're all vulnerable to that. So again, it's just an awareness I think we should have. The last point, when I say we use ordinary garages to create extraordinary lives, a lot of times, and I know you guys have been around long enough, I think all of you, to know that I don't mean if storage success, then you get to have an extraordinary life, right? It's not a if this, then maybe someday extraordinary will happen for you. I wrote down there, what is the fastest path? The fastest path is pursuing both your storage success and your extraordinary life concurrently, right? I'm going to pick on you guys because you're sitting right there looking at me. You are the perfect example of this, right? Shane and Andrea didn't say, you know, we want to change. We want to change in our life. We want to move to Florida. We want to do this thing. So we're going to go out and we're going to do this in storage and then this and then this and then this and then this. And maybe if we're not dead yet, then we'll be able to do this Florida thing. They've been pursuing the higher level needs. Shane, I don't know, do you guys both do the Miracle Morning? Yeah. Right? So they're pursuing the personal development stuff, the connection. They're prioritizing their family and what they want their life to look like. And I believe as a result, that's accelerating their storage success, which then accelerates their life success, right? And you enter into this self-fulfilling prophecy that I know it's hard to think, well, if I dedicate more time to other stuff, my storage will slow down. They're proof that that's not how it works. And I'm picking on them now. There are a lot of you in this room that fall into that same boat. So does that make sense? Yes? Does anyone believe me? I hope. So very quickly, I'm going to roll through this. Storage Rebellion is designed to do a couple things. It's designed to educate you guys. We're going to give you nuts and bolts storage education and a lot of it, okay? That is going to come in two forms, right? Educate is to give knowledge. And so we're going to give you knowledge that is nuts and bolts storage oriented, and that is what I call the science of success or mindset oriented. It's the personal development stuff. It's a lot of what I just covered in the previous slides falls into that category. Education by itself, we all know, is not enough, right? If it were, you could take all of the free content that myself and several other people put out on the internet about self-storage, and you would have success instantly. Education alone isn't enough. We need encouragement, right? Which is to give courage. And the way we do that is my hope to provide you with inspiration and hope, not me just being a cheerleader, but you seeing the success stories that have happened for individuals in this room and collectively as a whole, the success that's come together as we collaborate with one another. Now, nobody wins the game because they have lots of cheerleaders, right? You need the encouragement and the education, and where those overlap is what I would describe as empowerment. So education is to give knowledge, encouragement is to give courage, empowerment is to give power. Power is the only thing that accomplishes work, and work is what happens before you succeed. Does that make sense? All right.